Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm with you here today as a psychic medium talking about Heaven is for Real. I don't know whether you've seen this movie. I just watched it a few weeks ago, Heaven is for Real. And it's about a little boy, a true life story that became very ill at 4 years old. They had to do surgery on him and they didn't think he was going to make it. And he didn't have a near-death experience. He went straight to heaven. And he was sitting on Jesus's lap. And he had many, many experiences in heaven. And he obviously made it and came back. And his father was a minister, and while the boy was in surgery, he became very angry at God and went into a chapel at the hospital and prayed first, and then became very angry with God that he didn't want him to take his little boy. I can so relate to that. My mother passed of a stroke, and she lived for 5 months before the stroke eventually took her life. But I got the call, caregivers, hospice, nursing homes, private homes, whatever. They all know, or the vast majority of them knows, usually within a 24-hour period, when someone is going to leave their physical body and go home. And I got the call with my brother. I got the call with my father. I've gotten the call with many, many friends and clients. I got the call from my mother. But my mother was being stubborn. I know why she was being stubborn. She didn't want to leave me alone because that was my last surviving relative. And it took her 2 days to actually cross over. Even with me telling her, it's okay, I'm going to be fine. Even with my friends telling her the same thing. The second day, and it was the evening of the second day, I went around, did all these things, tried to keep as busy as I could. And I believe it was about 7, 8 o'clock at night, and she still hadn't crossed. And I went home, and I remember going in my bedroom and taking my purse and just slamming it. And going, God, how can you do this to me? How can you do this to her? Let her go home. Let her have peace. So I totally relate to the man, the father in that movie, okay? But this little boy came back and he started describing things that he had seen and things that he knew about his parents and other people that he had no idea existed. For example, his father being in the chapel and getting mad at God. His mother had had a miscarriage, and he told his mom, I didn't know I had a sister. Why didn't you ever tell me about the sister? And they had just kept it between the two of them. I also saw, and he was describing how beautiful it was up there, and nobody's old. He showed a picture, or his father showed a picture of his father, so his grandfather to him. And the grandfather was an older picture, and he had glasses on. And the 4-year-old boy kept insisting, no, Dad, that's not Papa. No, Dad. So Dad showed him a younger picture of the grandfather without glasses. And he goes, yeah, that's him. He goes, Dad, nobody in heaven's old. Nobody wears glasses. I'm like thinking, sign me up, because I got to wear about 6 pairs of lenses now to be able to see, right? I also listened to this guy I just caught the tail end of this little TV show. I don't even know what it was about. But this guy was a big corporate guy. He had a near-death experience, I believe. But anyway, he interviewed 25,000 people that had near-death experiences, and he wrote a book on it. The one thing that he said, coming from a corporate mindset, he said everybody that he interviewed, that he talked to, that has experienced heaven, kept talking about how beautiful it was. So, being a medium, I have seen the other side. I've seen it through meditation. I've seen it in my readings with people. And it is beautiful. So for those of you that are afraid of dying, I'm here to give you some comfort and say, don't be. For those of you that are having people that you know, people that are transitioning or have transitioned, a question I get asked so many times in my readings, is my loved one okay? Yes, they're in heaven. I believe we go before a judgment board and we have to replay our life, how we led it here on this physical plane. The good, the bad, the ugly, the loving, whatever, we go before that review board. I don't know how long that review board takes. It could take a second, a minute, an hour, a day, weeks, months, years. I think it all depends on how we led our life and how quickly we go through this. But once we get on the other side of that, I believe that we all go to heaven. And that it is the most beautiful place you can ever imagine. Take the most beautiful thing you've ever seen, the place that you've ever been, multiply that by 10 million, and I'm not sure heaven would even do that justice. Take the most beautiful moment that you've ever had, a loving moment, a laughing moment, a moment that you remember that you cherish forever, multiply that times 10 million. That's how everybody is in heaven. So I'm here to share with you that yes, heaven is for real. I'll give you a little bit of advice, folks. If you're conceived, one day you're going to die. That is inevitable. There's no way to get around that. Okay? The good news is we all go to heaven. And it's our physical body that dies. It's our spirit, our soul, which lies within our heart, our gut, that remains alive. So I hope this brings you some comfort, some coping if you are going through a grief period of a loss right now. And it can be a physical loss. It can be a loss of a home, a job, a career, a money, and material things. It can be a loss of a relationship that's not physical. If those are the cases, even in a physical loss, if that's the case, it's the universe working in sync with you, not against you, that it is time for a change and it is time to move on. Now, will you get it right? Who knows? I've made so many changes in my life that I just go, I fly by the seat of my pants, so to speak. However the angels guide me, I've learned to listen, trust, believe, and follow. If I know I want to make a change, whatever that change is, I will ask for that, but I always ask for my best and highest self, and then I allow them to guide me. So, my main reason for sharing this with you today is yes, heaven is for real. And we will all meet up there one day. And it's beautiful. So please, I know when you lose somebody you grieve, but know that they're fine, that they're not in pain anymore, and that they're happy, and that they're loved and well taken care of. I hope this brings comfort to you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for listening, and I will join you again soon.